They're calling it a massacre, and the legacy media is absolutely losing their minds over it. This week, President Trump fired a massive number of immigration judges in a single day. They're calling it the purge. But here's what they won't tell you. Stick with me to the very end of this video, and I'll show you why this might be the most brilliant move Trump has made yet. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another wonderful day in the glorious golden age that you made possible back on November the 5th. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. The winning never stops, and today it just got a whole lot better. President Trump is firing immigration judges all across the country at unprecedented levels. Just yesterday, he fired 8 in New York City alone, and that after having already fired a previous 6 judges in Manhattan, eliminating 25% of New York's immigration judiciary. In San Francisco, a total of 15 judges were just sacked by Trump last week. San Francisco now has less than half the immigration judges they had this time last year. But all of this is just the tip of the iceberg. Altogether, over the last year, since January, President Trump has fired over 100 immigration judges across the country. That's 20%, 1/5 of the nation's immigration judges. Now, you may be asking yourself the question, Dr. Steve, what the heck is an immigration judge? Well, I'm very glad you asked that. What is an immigration judge supposed to do? I'll be happy to answer that. Well, simply put, an immigration judge is an administrative official who presides over court hearings to decide whether non-citizens can remain in the United States or must be removed. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, the legacy media would like you to think that these judges are like federal judges, supposedly independent, untouchable, serving for life. That is flat out wrong. They are lying to you when they allude to that. And the legacy media knows that. They know they're lying. Immigration judges are not what we call Article 3 federal judges, right? Article 3 in the Constitution deals with the judiciary. They do not come under Article 3. They are Article 2 judges, which is the executive branch. They work for the Executive Office for Immigration Review, which is part of the Department of Justice, the DOJ. So that means that their boss is the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And who, pray tell, is Pam Bondi's boss? Who could fire Pam Bondi if you wanted to? Yep, the president of these United States, Donald J. Trump. So what's so key here is that this isn't some unprecedented power grab like the legacy media wants to think. That's exactly what they're trying to frame it as. This is Article 2 of the Constitution at work. The president has the constitutional authority to remove what are called inferior officers, and immigration judges are exactly that. So why is the legacy media so outraged over this? Well, because they don't want you to know what these judges have actually been doing. An NPR investigation, note that, NPR, right? Not some right-wing outlet. No, NPR found that most of the fired judges had backgrounds defending illegal migrants before they became judges. They were defenders of illegal migrants. One judge at 26 Federal Plaza, Manhattan, who was just fired, a fellow by the name of David Kim, he had the highest asylum grant rate of any judge at the courthouse. And so obviously the administration believes, and the evidence suggests, that these judges were far too lenient in allowing particularly illegal migrants to stay. They were letting people stay who should have been sent home long ago. And when you have a backlog of over 3.7 million immigration cases clogging the system, that's not compassion. That's criminal negligence. Let me give you the numbers the media buries. Okay, this is what the legacy media tries to hide from you, but this is exactly what Trump is responding to. The immigration court backlog has nearly tripled in just 4 years. Yes, you heard that right, tripled. It's gone from 1.3 million pending cases in 2020 to 3.7 million by the end of 2024. The average wait time, you ready for this? The average wait time for a migrant to get a court hearing, almost 4 years. 4 freaking years. Oh, this is really going to boil your blood. Again, no, that's the average, right? It's almost 2026, right? There are some cases in New York that are not slated to be heard until the 2030s. So how on earth did it get this bad? Well, precisely because we had judges who prioritized ideology over enforcement. We had a system that deliberately and intentionally moved at a snail's pace while millions of cases piled up, waiting for Democrats to get the power they needed to declare mass amnesty. That's all these courts were in the end. That's what they turned into. They were just stalling tactics, waiting for the Democrats to officially induct tens of millions of new Democrat voters, keeping them in power in perpetuity. But here's what's really driving the left crazy. The Trump administration isn't just firing judges. No. Far from that. They're doing something else that has the left in an absolute panic. Wait until you see this. Most Americans are still strapped in a different kind of cage, an economic one. And you know exactly what I mean. We built a system where ordinary Americans are running faster and faster just to survive, stuck in their jobs that they hate, watching inflation devour everything that they've earned while Wall Street and Washington grow fatter off their labor. The elites thrive on control over your speech, over your movement, over your money. That's why I want to take a moment and tell you about something that changed my own perspective on financial independence. It's something that I've actually been personally learning and trying, and I think it's going to blow you away. You're going to love to learn it and try it as well. I, like you, often lie awake wondering if my savings are going to survive the next crisis, engineered by people who couldn't care less about us. It's not paranoia. It's reality. I mean, the game is rigged to keep us all dependent, scared, and broke. But there is a way out of that system. My good friend Troy Noonan, the backpack trader, has built an amazing and proven system that helps ordinary people break free from financial dependence. His students, and I'm one of them, don't just learn how to day trade and swing trade. They learn how to trade successfully and literally from anywhere and everywhere. We're talking kitchen tables, mountain cabins, even cafes in Italy. Troy has a program that will teach you how to build real financial freedom on your own terms. No employees, no bosses, no bureaucracy, just smart, independent trading strategies that actually work. Again, I've seen it firsthand. And gang, Troy is an absolutely amazing teacher. So if you're ready to stop running on the elite's mice wheel and start taking real control of your life, go to backpacktrader.com/Turley. That's backpacktrader.com/Turley right now, or just click on the link below. Again, this is an absolutely amazing opportunity to learn how to day trade from the comfort of your own couch. And Troy is the best teacher and strategist out there. In fact, Troy's hosting a special training session where he's going to walk you through his entire system step by step. It's not fluff. It's not theory. It's what real sovereignty, financial and personal, looks like. Make sure to click on that link below today. You will not regret it. President Trump isn't just firing judges across the country. He's replacing them with people who will actually enforce the law. The Department of Homeland Security, yes, you heard that right, the DHS, is now actively hiring what they're calling deportation judges. So we've gone from the Secretary of Defense to the Secretary of War, right? Now we're going from immigration judges to deportation judges. And these positions offer up to $200,000 in annual salary with potential remote work. And the new judges being brought in, they're all coming from backgrounds in immigration enforcement. Working for like Tom Homan. They're coming from the military. They're coming from federal service. They're not coming from some advocacy group, some NGO trying to keep illegal migrants in the country. A New York Times review of 11 new judges found that not a single one, not one, had immigration defense experience. Not one. Every one of them came from law enforcement backgrounds. Now, that's not an accident. That is Trumpian strategy. Left-wing activists are openly admitting that this purge by Trump, some are calling it a massacre, is fundamentally reshaping the entire deportation process in ways that will completely overhaul the system they deliberately clogged up. In fact, you'll love this. This will tell you everything you need to know here. The Democrats are panicking so much, they've actually introduced legislation, right? To no avail, of course, because they're not in power, but they've introduced legislation desperately trying to limit who can serve as a temporary immigration judge and prevent military lawyers from taking these positions, precisely because they know what's coming. They know what's a court system that actually works, and you can't have that. Not if you're trying to deliberately import a whole new voting constituency. You can't have that. They know that this will involve a court system that actually prioritizes deportation over delay, enforcement over ideology, judges who actually enforce the law instead of finding creative ways around it, an administration that's deadly serious about securing our border. I mean, make no mistake. The legacy media, they can whine, they can weep and gnash their teeth all they want. For American citizens who've watched this system fail for literally decades, this looks more like long overdue accountability than anything else. We've talked often about this on our channel in the past, actually for the last several years, ever since we began back in November 2016. There is a phenomenon, a worldwide phenomenon, that scholars call post-security politics. If you really want to know what MAGA is, I mean, there's a lot of terms we use like civilizational populism and all that. But another way of understanding and framing what Make America Great Again or America First is through the lens of what's called post-security politics. It's a worldwide political backlash against all the ways in which liberal globalists have eroded the securities that have historically been provided by the nation state. Border security, so we don't get invaded and marauded and the like. Economic security, so I can have a decent standard of living. And cultural security, where we can all celebrate the same customs and cultures and speak the same language and the like. That's what the nation state's supposed to provide. Well, globalists, liberal globalists, have eroded those three securities systematically, as it were. So they've eroded our borders with mass immigration, bringing in cheap labor, and for Democrats, cheap votes, right? They've eroded our economic security by driving wages down with that cheap labor, all the while shipping our manufacturing jobs overseas, leaving our rural areas highly unemployed. And they erode our cultural security by inundating our nation with migratory cultures that refuse to assimilate into a distinctively American way of life. And so make no mistake, border security is the number one political issue for the vast majority of the world, let alone our country. Again, we talked about it in our earlier video today. Mark Mitchell over at Rasmussen found that 66% of likely voters support Trump's deportation policies. The latest New York Times poll found almost the exact same number. 63% support the deporting of all, not just some, all illegal migrants who entered the United States in the past 4 years. Again, the legacy media wants you to see these mass firings as chaos. I see it as correction. For too long, the immigration court system has been a bottleneck by design, staffed with judges who saw their job as protecting illegal migrants, not protecting American sovereignty. President Trump is doing what he was elected to do. He's cleaning house. He's installing judges who will move cases through the system, and he's making it clear that the era of judicial activism in immigration courts is officially over. The Monday massacre wasn't a tragedy. It was a promise kept. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to hear anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless.